morning. Happy Thursday. Sorry that I did not post yesterday morning. I recorded a video like I'm doing right now on my way to work, but I just was not in the best mind space yesterday, or headspace. I'm not doing 1,000% better today, but I didn't want to just, stop posting, because these videos help me think of, my own thoughts as well. But yeah, yesterday I just, brief synopsis, because I don't want, this whole channel to turn into sob story, but, so my husband is in a trade. He's a HVAC service tech, and they have a busy month, or a busy season, which is summertime, and then a slower season, which is wintertime. And we're in that slow season right now, and we've been pretty blessed so far during the slow season that he hasn't been terribly affected with no work up until like 2 weeks ago. And then all of a sudden he's only been having like one call a day, or working 20 hours a week, opposed to his normal 40, 45, 50 hours a week. And so that's put a really big strain on us financially. And we are renters, and so even if we were homeowners, obviously you have to pay a mortgage, but we've been in this house for almost 4 years, and we have perfect payment, and we will continue to. It's just with the first of the month rolling around, and the fact that he unfortunately hasn't been working that much, which is no fault to him. It's just the trade right now. It's putting a lot of strain on us. And yeah, so just stressed about some money problems, which is like the worst type of stress. That and health stress, I think, are the worst type of stresses. But we will figure it out somehow. We always do. He works his ass off, and he does a lot of side work, because we have a side business for handyman and junk removal and stuff. And he goes on call this week, tomorrow actually. So hopefully, I hate to say it, I hate that he has to run himself into the ground, but if that's just what you have to do, if you have to do it. So hopefully his on-call week will be busy and can kind of help make up for the last few weeks. But yeah, yesterday I just couldn't get out of that like constant state of anxiety, because I'll be honest with you, we've fallen behind on our phone bill, we've fallen behind on a few other major bills, because like I said, the last few weeks he hasn't really been working. So anyways, back to our regular style videos. But I guess that kind of ties into how I'm feeling. I did take my 5 milligram shot on Tuesday, and I'm happy to announce that I have not had any side effects like nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. I don't feel any of that. No like extra fatigue. Definitely feel the appetite suppressant still. Definitely feel like the food noise has still not been there. What else? It's Thursday now, so I haven't been on it for too long, but I still feel good. I had a OB appointment yesterday for my annual. If you're a woman, please go get checked out. It is very important. And I talked to her there about like ovulation and everything, because if you know anything about PCOS, it creates infertility. Not for everybody, but for some people. And one of those reasons being because PCOS makes our cycles irregular, which makes us like, not ovulate, and obviously you can't get pregnant without ovulating. And so last month I got my period after I got my IUD taken out. This month I got my period, and I kind of just wanted to talk to her because my period length, so the length that I actually bleed, is a little bit longer than normal. Last month it was about 11 days, and this month I'm on day 10 right now, which is very, very, very light. Like, even when she was doing my exam, she was like, yeah, this is like super light bleeding. So I just wanted to ask her, like, what does that mean? Does this mean I'm not ovulating? Is there a way for me to tell if I'm ovulating? I have those strips at home, but you have to be very, very consistent with those strips. Those strips also don't 100% mean you're ovulating. It could just mean that your that hormone is high, but there's nothing that tells you 100% that you have ovulated, like, unless you go and get a bunch of blood work done to test your hormones. So, I kind of just chatted with her a little bit about, like, I know I'm not trying to get pregnant, this month or this year, but how do I go about knowing if I'm ovulating? Because I don't want to take this entire year and then try for like a year, because that's the most fucked up part about infertility, is a lot of doctors won't see you until you've been trying for like 6 months to a year. Well, I don't want to wait that long. As someone who already has things, pinned against them with the diabetes, the PCOS, being overweight, all of these things, like, and at that point I'm gonna be over 31 years old. Like, I don't want to wait another 9 months of trying. Like, if we know something's wrong, I want to address the problem. I want to be proactive and not reactive. And so I kind of explained that, and she was saying how, I hear you, I agree with what you're saying, but even if we were to find out right now that you are not ovulating, there's literally nothing we would do since you're not trying to get pregnant. And she was like, you're still so new on this journey of like health and getting things under control and even getting a regular cycle, that for right now, I just want you to focus on that. I want us to focus on getting you a regular cycle every month. And she said, not everybody, but most of the time, if you are getting a regular period every single month and you're bleeding and your entire cycle is anywhere between 25 to 35 days, she said, hell, I would even go as far to push it to 40 days. She said, you're likely ovulating. She said it's when you get a period 1 month, but then have like a 3-month gap and then bleed again. She said you're likely not ovulating at that period. That's more of a, I'm full, I need to dump what I have inside of me out. But if you're consistently getting a period every month around the same time, that's lasting around the same time as the previous months, you are likely ovulating. She told me if you want to try those strips, you can. She told me to try from day 10 to 20 and see. She said the lines will get darker, they'll get lighter, So that's kind of the plan right now. We did, however, talk about pregnancy and Mounjaro, though, which that was interesting because she told me, once next year comes and you're ready to actively try, we will have to stop the Mounjaro. And I was like, so here's the thing. I'm not only taking Mounjaro for I'm also taking it for my diabetes. And I know that once I am pregnant, because there's not enough research right now on Mounjaro and pregnancy, I will have to stop and have to switch over to metformin, which I fucking hate metformin. I've been on metformin on and off since I was in fucking like middle school. Those horse ass pills, the white horse pills. I hate metformin. But obviously, if I am pregnant, I will do whatever I have to do. But I'm just saying, I hate metformin. Which I already knew. I know I have to go on that and off of the Mounjaro. But for me personally, if this is going to be a long road of infertility for me, which maybe it won't be, but if it is, I would hate to get off of a medication that is helping me in my journey to even become pregnant, because it's working right now. So I said to her, you know, I know that the recommendation is to get off of it because we don't know enough about it. But in my case, and I think in a lot of people's cases, it's kind of like if you are like a social drinker or a smoker or whatever, and you don't find out that you're pregnant until you're 7 weeks along, and you've been going out every few weekends with friends and getting drinks. Well, once you know you're pregnant, that's when you stop doing all of those things. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna long-term hurt your baby that you were, you know, having a few glasses of wine every few weekends leading up to finding out. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about the medicine. I mean, who knows? In a year, way more research might come out, and maybe it'll be like, nope, this is totally fine during pregnancy, or no, this is absolutely horrible. Definitely stop once you're trying to conceive. So we'll have to see where the medication research is around the same time that I'm trying to get pregnant. But I did say to her, you know, I would really hate to stop, especially if this is going to take me a year to get pregnant. That's a full year that I could have been on a medication that is also going to help me get pregnant, because it's going to help heal my body, my diabetes, my weight, all of that. And she agreed with me. So our plan is I'm going to track my cycle closely, track my ovulation through the strips. I also have that basal thermometer that, you know, is also supposed to help with ovulation. So we're just going to kind of track it for the next like 6 to 9 months, try to stay on top of if I'm getting a consistent period, work on my diet, exercise, diabetes, and then when the time is right to try to get pregnant, we will reevaluate where we are as far as the medication and everything else, and then go from there. So I thought that was a, you know, it wasn't like she was like, oh no, like, you know, she was great, and I'm very happy with how the conversation went. So that's kind of the plan of action. But yeah, had my pap done. You know, obviously we'll find out in a few days if everything came back good. Luckily, thank God, I've never had an abnormal one, so I'm not expecting for this one to be weird. But yeah, I'm having a hard time, like, I feel like for the first time ever, I'm like content with how I am feeling physically. Like, I'm starting to really be able to feel a difference in my body. I feel so much less inflamed. I feel like my brain fog is lifting. I'm just feeling like hopeful about my health. And then all of this shit happened with our finances, and finances have always been a really big trigger for me, and that's what causes a lot of my anxiety, which then caused a lot of my binge eating and kind of like self-sabotage and coping with bad food. So I'm like internally battling with myself right now, because I feel so good in one end, And then on the other end, I feel like we just can't catch a fucking break no matter what we do. And so I'm having a hard time, like, feeling two emotions at once. And, like, I'm just so frustrated. Like, for once in my life, and I'm sorry that this is turning into a bitching vlog, but, and I know so many people have it so much worse. Like, I don't want to give out too much information about where I live, but just a few days ago, a mother, a 44-year-old, was T-boned very close to where I live. Actually, I literally drive that route every single day to get to work. She's only 44 years old. I believe she had like 3 or 4 children, a husband. And she was T-boned and killed. And I have chills thinking about it. And that puts things into perspective for me. Like, we are struggling so terribly financially right now. But, like, we will figure it out. We will make it work. If I need to get a second job, if my husband has to technically get a third job, like, we will figure it out. These are things that we can figure out. And there are people that are in situations where there's no figuring it out. Your loved one, your mother, your wife, your sister, your whatever, whoever she was to people is gone. And that really puts things into perspective for me. And, like, I've been trying to find out more information about them because I would love to do something for them, whether that be, you know, cook dinner and bring it to them, or, you know, if there's a GoFundMe. I know we're struggling right now, but I would obviously donate whatever I could. And it just puts things into perspective. And everything, I think I mentioned this in the last vlog, like, everything is perspective. And so I'm just kind of struggling with my mental health, and that's why I took yesterday from this, because I didn't want the vlog to turn into what it's turning into right now, which is me doing nothing but bitching. I know I'm privileged to have a full-time job, and, you know, we have 2 working vehicles, we have 3 healthy animals, we have a roof over our head. Like, I know that I'm very lucky to have all these things, but it doesn't sometimes it doesn't help, just because of the situation we're currently in, which I know won't be our situation forever. You know, we're working really hard this year, not only on our physical and mental health, but also on our finances and getting out of debt that we have gotten ourselves into over the years. And yeah, so that's kind of my rant. That's where my head is at right now, is just having a hard time, like, feeling good. Like, unfortunately, that athletic club that I was talking about, that I was like, oh yeah, we can start going to, we weren't able to pay for February. The payments are always due on the 1st of the month, and we just didn't have it. And so right now our account is delinquent with them, which means, like, obviously we can't go just walk in and use the gym until we pay, which, duh. But that sucks. Like, it sucks, because I have this thing right at my fingertips that I know is going to help me. And because of our finances, we can't use it right now. But I know I can get outside and exercise. I know that there's other ways. I know I can do little videos at home. So, like, that's not the only way, but I'm just saying, like, it's just an added frustration. So it just feels weird to be so happy and content with one aspect of my life, while also being so worried about another major aspect. And I know that's life, and life is all about balance, and life is going to throw different things at us no matter what. And we just have to deal with it. I mean, there's literally nothing else we can do. It's not like we can just give up and be like, yeah, that sucks, and kind of let everything go to shit. Like, there's nothing else to do other than to figure it out. So, yeah, that's where my head is at. But at least it's almost Friday, and then there's the weekend, and then I'm gonna be flying back home very soon, because my sister's literally about to give birth any freaking day. any day between now and the beginning of March. So that's really, really exciting. And I think, you know, I think as long as we can figure out all these other little things, everything will fall into place. And I'm gonna keep my head up. I'm not gonna let these, you know, issues get me off like track. I'm not gonna let it derail me. But I will say, if it wasn't for this medication, I already would have been binge eating. I would have been like so hyped up on sugar and not giving a crap and not making my dinner at home every night, and like I would have been doing some physical damage, because that's just what happens when I get stressed. So this medication is definitely, it's helping a lot, and I'm very thankful for Mounjaro, and I'm thankful that you guys are here listening to me bitch. This video is way too long. It is way too sad. I apologize. I hope tomorrow's video will be a little more cheerful and happy, and I hope all of you are having a great week, and I will see you in tomorrow's vlog.